I saw the original Predator back when it was originally released in theaters in 1987. Yeah, I was young. I was a young man, but it was my first rated R movie and I was scared, I was thrilled. I loved it immediately. And I loved it. I mean, I loved it then and I love it now. That movie holds up. If you haven't seen the original Predator, definitely watch the original Predator. But ever since, all the sequels, if there's a Predator in the movie or in the title, it just hasn't been as good as that original experience. So did they pull it off this time? Did they finally pull it off and make a good Predator movie again? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the movie Prey. Filmed for release on Hulu, Prey tells the story of a skilled Comanche warrior who protects her tribe from a highly evolved alien predator that hunts humans for sport, fighting against wilderness, dangerous colonizers, and this mysterious creature to keep her people safe. The movie stars Amber Midthunder, Dakota Beavers, Dane DiLiegro, and Stormee Kipp. About a month before the release of Prey, there was an announcement that they were going to release an audio option on Hulu in the original Comanche language. And yeah, that isn't here yet. So it's only in English for right now, but look, I'm looking forward to watching it again in that original Comanche language. First, let's talk about some of the great things about this movie. The gorgeous cinematography. I mean, look, we've been watching a lot of things on like using the volume, and it's really cool to see actual scenery and things shot on location on a out in the world. It really is sort of a weird thing that I didn't realize I was missing until you watch a movie like this and you go, oh yeah, that's what movies are supposed to look like. The sound design in this movie is really, really good. Of course, I watched this at home with my surround sound system and it sounded great. It sounded really, really good. And the surrounds were used more aggressively, I guess you could say, than most films that come out these days. I really, really enjoyed that. The acting, for the most part, is fine. I mean, there's nobody that really sticks out as being bad, but it was just kind of fine. But I really, really enjoyed the performance from Amber Midthunder. I think she carried this movie, and without her performance, I don't think this movie would have been nearly as good as what it was. I mean, she's really, really fantastic, and I can't wait to see more from her. Now, some of the challenges, I think, at least for me, I found the overuse of CG a little distracting sometimes. I mean, it really feels like the difference between a big budget movie and something like this that's filmed for a streaming service. There's a tendency to over rely on CG, and I it's distracting. It's not terrific CG. It sticks out. It sticks out, and that's a little frustrating, especially when you're really dug into the movie, and things are really starting to happen, and you're really starting to get it, and then all of a sudden, bam, you're taken out of it by some CG that looks just not quite up to par. So this isn't a spoiler, okay? This is more about the just design. But I don't understand why in every single movie that has a predator in it, why they've gone away from that original design by Stan Winston. That has got to go down as one of the most realistic feeling aliens. I mean, it's an alien, right? But it felt organic, and it felt accurate to the design, right? The way that it moves. It's such a weird thing that in all the other movies, it looks really like hydraulic, and you can see like the mechanics working. In that original movie, the way that the face opens up and all that, it looks real, and I don't understand why they can't go back to that original design. It irritates me in every Predator movie I've seen since the original. And since this is somewhat of a primitive Predator, the weaponry isn't nearly as advanced. And so there are things that are interesting, but I mean, I don't know. You've done space travel. you're not going to change that much in 200 years. At least that's my thinking, is that there wouldn't be this lack of weaponry if you're able to travel to another planet via a spaceship. But hey, it's not my movie. So yeah, but that's just something that I wondered about. It's weird. Some people might agree with me on this and some people might not. But the weird thing is, like, to me, I'm watching this movie. It's rated R. And they seem to be shying away from the violence, almost as if they were thinking maybe this would be PG-13 or something. Because there's times when the camera like almost like, oh, I can't watch that. You know what I mean? And the camera moves away from the violent act. And I'm like, you're already rated R, you know? I don't understand why the problem. I mean, if you watch the original movie, there's stuff done there that was like, wow, that was a lot. That was crazy. Oh yeah, it's the 80s and it was like the Wild West back then. I don't care. It just doesn't feel as dangerous, I guess, as that original movie. I don't know. I don't know if I'm off base by saying this, but yeah, I kind of wish that they would just go all the way with it instead of shying away. The story is actually pretty cool. You know, it's about Amber Midthunder's character kind of coming to grips with, you know, it's like a coming of age story, you know, and also, you know, her brother has just been, you know, made the war chief. And so she's trying to prove herself to her tribe, to her brother, and all of that. That's all really cool. But it also feels almost like the Predator is an afterthought sometimes. And that's kind of, I don't know, a little disappointing. You know, like the first movie felt like these guys are going on this mission and all the way, you know, the Predator is always there. You know, it's always affecting those characters and moving the story forward. And I don't feel like the Predator was the driving force behind the story. I don't know if that makes sense, but it just, something felt a little bit off about it. But I still enjoyed it. So it's kind of a weird place that I find myself in. And there's also the idea that they're speaking English, but then they're speaking Comanche in certain parts. You know, they'll say a couple of words and then they'll switch back to this very modern sounding English. It was distracting. And I kind of wish that they would just have filmed the whole thing in Comanche and put English subtitles. I think that would have been, it would have felt more accurate to the time. And I think it just would have added to the story. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see once they release that Comanche dubbed version to see if it works like that. I don't know. So overall, I think I'd give this 3 stars. It's not the best movie and it's not the worst movie, but I still think that Predator fans will be pleased with a lot of the things that happen. They're going to be annoyed by some things, like I was. They're going to be distracted by some of the CG, but I still feel like overall, I think they did what they set out to do. And I think they made probably the most effective Predator movie since the original, even though it has its flaws. But then again, saying that it's the second best Predator movie isn't really saying much, is it? So, Prey on Hulu. What did you think about it? You know, I'm actually curious how many people even knew that it was out, because the marketing for this movie has been pretty low, you know? But then again, that's how streaming services does it nowadays. But I'm curious what you think. Did you like it? Did you have the same problems that I did? Did you have other problems that I didn't even mention? Or did you just love it and you think I'm nuts for disliking any of it? Let me know down below and we will talk about it. So thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on the next one.